So chat, I always speedrun Icarus, and Icarus is a lot of fun, but if you notice, Icarus is a very specific name, Icarus. And you probably know that it's based off of, like, the myth of Icarus, right? The boy who tried to fly, the boy who fell. But there's actually a lot more to the story, and the story is actually, it's bananas. Before we actually start with Icarus though, what if you already know the story? There's more to the story, Gecko. And if you know the whole thing, then you get an A+ in my class, which I don't have I have a class, just kidding, I have a class, and you get an A in it. It gives you lots of college credit. Icarus used Elytra. No, but he was bad at it. He was clearly bad at it. What's up, Shrub? Thank you for coming. But here's the thing though, before we get to the story of Icarus, we have to start with this guy called Minos. This guy is cool, because he's the son of Zeus. He's the son of Zeus like half the people in Greece, apparently. Because, you know, Zeus was a pretty busy boy back in the Greek times. But he's the son of Zeus, and he's raised along with his two brothers by this king called King Asterion. King Asterion was the king of this land called Crete. And it probably was like about the size of that. No, I don't know. But Asterion was really great. He was cool, but then he died, so he actually doesn't matter in this story. Ooh, a shipwreck. But King Asterion dies. That leaves Minos and his brothers to fight over who gets the crown. Minos wants to be king, so here's his plan. This guy does the dumbest thing. He's like, yo, I should be king, and here's why I should be king instead of you two other demigods. I should be king because I can pray for something to happen, and it will happen. And everyone's like, okay, that sounds hella cool actually. If you can do that, we'll make you king. We'll totally make you king. And see, the problem here is that Minos was using an advanced technique that you might have heard of in a Technoblade video. It's called lying. He's lying. He has no idea what he's doing. he just made that up, which is a pretty dumb thing to do, if I don't say so myself. He just like lies to everyone. So he's like, oh no, now I gotta figure out how to make something appear just by praying for it. What do I do? Good thing he lives in ancient Greek times where things work a little differently. So what he does is he goes and he makes a sacrifice to Poseidon, who is technically his uncle, which is pretty cool. Imagine you're just like, yo, Poseidon's my uncle. No, I just dropped the pic. Okay. He makes a sacrifice to Poseidon, and he says to Poseidon, yo, my guy, Poseidon, Uncle Poseidon, Uncle Posai. How about you do me a favor, all right? You do me a solid and I'll do you a solid. You grant my wish when I pray for something, okay? You grant my wish. And in return, I need a block. I need a block of anything. In return, I will make you an even bigger sacrifice if you make me king. I'm giving you a sacrifice now, but if you make me king, I'll give you an even bigger sacrifice. So he makes that sacrifice to Poseidon, and I have no idea what he sacrificed to Poseidon, but whatever it was, apparently it was like singing god catnip or something, you know? Something crazy. I don't have flint. Like, he sacrificed something good, whatever it was. Okay, and Poseidon's like, sure. He agrees. So, the plan is now working perfectly for Minos. So he, you know, when the time comes, he gathers everybody. You know, he gathers a large crowd. And he looks up into the heavens, as I now look up into the heavens and pray for flint. Okay, 6-minute nether, not bad. So, Minos gathers a crowd, and then he looks up into the sky, and he says, yo, gods. Yo, my guys. You know me, all right, and you give me anything I want. I want a big, muscular, magical bull. He asks for a bull. No one questions why he wants a bull. They're like, okay. And then so Poseidon gets the signal from Minos, and he just yeets a big magical white bull out of the water. And everyone's like, whoa, that's so PogChamp. You're so magical. You're so magical. And they just accept it. They just accept the fact that Minos asked for such a specific thing, a giant muscular magical bull. And they're just like, okay, you can be king. You know what? You can be king. They just let him be king. And it goes off without a hitch. So now, if Minos was actually, you know, if he was good, if he was gonna uphold his end of the deal, now would have been his time to give a return sacrifice to Poseidon. And what better sacrifice than the magical bull that Poseidon gave him, right? So the people make him king, right? And I already said he should have sacrificed back to Poseidon. I should have sacrificed to Poseidon. I really should have given Poseidon some sacrifices, apparently. Where were we? Oh yeah, Minos, if he was a good guy, he would sacrifice the giant magic bull that Poseidon gave him. Instead, this guy's like, you know what? I'll sacrifice a regular bull. I bet Poseidon won't even notice. It's not like he made the magic bull or anything. So Minos goes ahead and sacrifices a normal bull. Poseidon notices. Poseidon definitely notices. He definitely notices that he didn't get his magical white bull as he wanted. So he gets angry, as understandably, when a mortal spites you, when a mortal tricks you, when he plays you for a fool. And what does he do? The first thing he does is he uses his godlike powers to simultaneously pee in every pool in Crete at the same time. Don't ask me how I know he did this, but he definitely did. The next thing he actually did, though, was he made that beautiful white bull. He made it go mad. He made it go crazy. So it wasn't very beautiful anymore. Or it was still muscular, though. He made it go crazy, so now there's a big, crazy, muscular bull running around Crete, about to just sting and maul and kill Cretans. The bull's killing the citizens of Crete, basically, which is not a very good thing when you're trying to be king, when you're King Minos, right? And your citizens are like, the bull that you prayed for is killing all of us. Do something. So he's forced to cast it off into the wild to get rid of it, just so that it goes away. But Poseidon isn't done. The thing is, Poseidon isn't done. Like, you thought that was bad, depraving King Minos of his giant magical muscular bull. He does something even worse. So the next thing Poseidon does is he makes King Minos's wife fall in love with the bull. Look, I don't think you understand the gravity of this, or maybe you do, but if you don't, Poseidon makes the first furry, is essentially what he did. He made a furry. And I made an enemy of a skeleton. You understand the craziness of that? Poseidon made the first furry. Like, you ever wondered where furries came from? It was Poseidon. It was Poseidon who did it. Like, what the fricky dicky, dude? So King Minos's wife has fallen in love with a bull. But so Poseidon's made the first furry, and the queen now wants to, get her fursuit on and go to town with the bull. Somehow Poseidon can do that. I don't know how he even, thought of this curse, but he did it. But then the thing is, I think she probably realizes somewhere along the line that being a furry is actually pretty hard when the other party is a straight up animal, is just really an animal. I believe that's called zoophilia, and I think most furries don't do that, which is good. The queen realized that it's going to be harder than she thinks to do it with a bull who actually wants to do it with a real female bull and not, with some random human. And she needs some help. And this is where our boy Daedalus comes in. And if you don't know who Daedalus is, he is like the OG TF2 engineer. He is a master builder. He is the master crafter of all things. He's kind of a legend. He's actually an insane, inventor, craftsman, person dude in Athens. He invented carpentry. He straight up invented carpentry and all the tools for carpentry. What else did he invent besides that? He invented the first dance floor. He straight up invented the dance floor. That's right. So that means without Daedalus, you wouldn't have the Fortnite concert, the digital Fortnite concert hosted by DJ Marshmallow. You have Daedalus to thank for that. So you better like Daedalus. You better thank him. And he's loved, right? Obviously, who wouldn't love the creator of the Fortnite digital, the Fortnite digital concert? Who wouldn't love that guy? So Daedalus is a pretty cool guy. He's so nice that he decides to take on his nephew Perdix as an apprentice, because that's how chill of a guy he is. He's like, okay, Perdix, I'll teach you everything I know. I'll pass down my knowledge. Perdix actually shows promise, which is great. Perdix shows promise, and he's actually getting to be a really good craftsman. He's good. He's following in his uncle's footsteps, and that's nice. It's so awesome and nice that Perdix is just, he's taking after his old man. He's taking after his old uncle. And that's so great. And Daedalus pushes him off a cliff because he's jealous. You think you know a guy. You think you know a guy. Daedalus just shoves him off a cliff. And he is gone. Speaking of gone, this run is gone if I don't find iron right now. Cool. But yeah, so Daedalus pushes Perdix off a cliff, and then if Twitter was around, he would have just been canceled, and they would have just canceled Daedalus and been done with it. But no, they have to do more than that. So he gets banished from Athens for literally murdering a child, which is pretty fair punishment. And so he goes over to Crete looking for work, looking for some jobs to do. And what do you know? There just so happens to be a sad queen who has something they need, who has an important task that the queen needs to be done. And what is that task? Oh, it's banging the bull. She goes to Daedalus for help. And Daedalus says, okay, sure, why not? So he applies his inventing genius to the problem, and you'll never guess how this guy figures it out. Daedalus builds the first ever fursuit I'm not even kidding. Let's go see if there's a bastion somewhere close. Daedalus builds the first ever fursuit. Now, it's made out of wood, so it's a little bit clunky by today's standards. Yeah, I know. It's made out of wood, but it's first ever fursuit. It's clunky by today's standards, but you know, I bet back then it made waves in the furry community. Can you imagine first ever fursuit? So basically, he builds a wooden bull, like a hollow wooden bull. The queen can just crawl inside of it and trick the bull into thinking it's a real female bull, and the bull, you know, goes to town on the normal, on the fake bull, on the queen in the fursuit. Yeah. And if you think that's the end of the story, no. We're not just ending with a story of furry genesis. 9 months later, the queen gives birth. And you do not need an episode of that show where they go, "You are not the father." It's like, I looked up the name of it, but it's literally impossible to pronounce, so I gave up. But you don't need an episode of that to tell who the father is, because the child is half man, half bull. Oh yeah. I always imagine that the queen tries to convince the king, King Minos, that the child is his. She's like, "Oh, look, it looks just like you, a very handsome and attractive, but only to me." Yeah, like you. The kid's name is Asterius, but he gets that thing where you get a nickname and it just kind of takes over your life and becomes your real name. So it's kind of like me, how my real name is Jack, but everybody calls me Biggest Dickus for some strange reason. That's a cool thing about me. Anyway, he gets named the Minotaur, and that name sticks with him for life, as you know, because that's what we know. Whoa, why are there so many places? Where did they all come from? Oh, 8 blaze rods. Let's go. We're out. So he becomes the Minotaur, and now, at first, the king's like, whatever, okay, that thing is gross, just keep it away from me and we'll be fine, and I'm cool with it, I guess. But the Minotaur is a pretty bad boy. I mean, a bad pet. I mean, but the Minotaur is pretty bad. It's mauling the citizens of Crete, just like its father. It takes after its old man, or old bull, which is, you know, not good for the king. So the king has to send him away, and basically the king needs a way to keep him captured. But the bull is really strong, though. So I'm not sure, like, he's not sure how to, you know, what is he gonna do with the Minotaur? Like, how is he gonna keep him contained? So he realizes, hey, wait, there's a master crafter on this island. I can ask Daedalus, which is pretty funny because now Daedalus is getting paid to solve the problem that he created. That's just dumb. That's like if a hitman hired a fireman to set someone's house on fire, but then the same fireman was also part of the crew that put out the fire. It's like the biggest win-win I've ever seen for Daedalus. Daedalus puts, you know, once again, he puts his insanely inventive brain, apparently. He conceived of the first fursuit, don't know how he did that. But he puts his brain to the task and he comes up with the labyrinth, as Gecko said. Gecko gets an A+. He came up with the labyrinth, which is just basically a big impossible maze to keep the Minotaur in. Wait, Bastion! Wait, this run could actually work. And we're not doing too bad on time. What type of bastion is this? I don't actually know. Oh wait, now I know. It's Hoglin Stables? Yeah, Hoglin Stables. Wait, what? Are there no good gaps here? Oh no. This is such an F. I honestly thought the run could be completed, but doesn't look like it anymore. Oh no, that's such an F. Let's see if we can find anything else, I guess. Wait, that's housing? No way. Wait, I think you're right. You're totally right. You're so right. Oh my god, bearded cats, you're actually a legend. It's housing. I just got confused by the Hoglin Stables. You're a genius. You're a genius. Bearded cats, I'm gonna give you Sting and Mod. Holy crap, you're insane. You just saved this run. You just saved this entire run. I'm gonna mod you, hold on. There's some gold in here for you. No, there's gold in here. There's gold in there. Please go, please go, please go. Yes, we got so many. Nice. That might actually be everything we need. Alright, let's go positive Z. Let's go back down to Z0, and then that's about where we should build the portal. And there's a lot of different descriptions of the labyrinth. Some said it was like a giant circular maze, and some people said, "Gas, stop, you're interrupting the story." This is why Gas are always sad, because they never be quiet, so no one can ever tell them stories. Okay, so anyway, Daedalus builds the labyrinth, and he finally finishes it. And he finishes this insane task. He basically built a maze that's impossible to finish. It's an impossible maze. Daedalus finishes the labyrinth. He finishes building this insane contraption, and he goes to King Minos, and he's like, "Yo man, I finished your maze for you." And King Minos looks at him and is like, "Oh really? You finished my maze to house the Minotaur. How awesome is that? That's so cool. Thank you, man." And Daedalus is like, "Hey man, no problem, all in a day's work." And then Minos is like, well, guess what, buddy? I found out who helped my wife do that bull in the first place. I found out who caused the Minotaur. And it was you, my boy. It was you, Mr. Daedalus. You did it. You did this to me. He's furious with Daedalus. And Daedalus is like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry, man. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. It was an oopsie. I did an oopsie, okay? No, nobody's perfect. What do you want me to do? Look, come on. I just finished the labyrinth. It's literally an impossible maze with no exit. You literally can't get out of it if you're locked in there. And King Minos is like, oh, really? And Daedalus is like, yeah, it's a marvel of architecture. And Minos is like, get in there. Wait, what? No, get in the labyrinth. So, according to the versions that I like the best, Daedalus gets locked in the labyrinth, in the same prison that he created. Daedalus is like mumbo jumbo. Dude, I agree. He is. Mumbo Jumbo is the second coming of Daedalus. Dude, you're so right. I didn't even notice that fusion. So Daedalus is locked in, and I should mention something. Daedalus has a kid, and I bet you guys know what this kid's name is. His son is named Icarus, and he hasn't been mentioned in this story so far because he's basically unimportant. He's literally a side character for 90% of his own story. We went from Minos to his wife, who did the thing with the bull, to the Minotaur, to Daedalus. But now, Daedalus and his son are locked up in the labyrinth, and they're just straight up not having a good time. Even if they somehow find a way to get out of the labyrinth, even if Daedalus puts his brain to the use, and they figure out how to get out of there, out of that impossible maze, they still have to fight through Crete. And you know, King Minos is not a bad king. He's got power over the sea, over the land. Basically, there's no escape. They can't go by sea or go by land. So poor Daedalus is locked up in the old tower, and he's, you know, he's in a tower somehow, or somewhere with a window, and he's just gazing out the window sadly, thinking about his past mistakes, including killing a child by pushing him off a cliff. So there's a lot to think about, as you can tell. And he's just chilling there. He's watching the birds fly by, you know, looking at them. They're so free, and oh my god, he figured out how to get out. He can fly. He'll fly out. He goes to Icarus. He's like, Icarus, my boy, I know what to do. We'll fly out. And Icarus is like, Dad, you're literally senile. How are we gonna fly? No one's ever flown before. And Daedalus is like, you forget who you're talking to. I am a master builder. This is like the most treacherous way to enter a stronghold. Jesus. So Daedalus builds wings. And you might be thinking, how does he do that? He's locked up in a tower. How does this kid build wings? He uses feathers from birds who like land on the window, and he just sting and kills them and takes their feathers. He's like, sorry birds, you were free, now my turn. This is so sad. This might be the end. Well, no, I don't want to stop the run, but we already wasted like 10 minutes in this tank stronghold. The stronghold is a labyrinth. Oh, you're right. Wait, we're in the labyrinth of Daedalus. What can we do? How are we gonna escape? This must be the end then. I don't know how to get out of that. It's an impossible maze. Oh, no, wait, don't say that. That makes me extremely claustrophobic somehow. Oh, chat, it's been 44 minutes. Chat, what do you think? Do we reset? Yeah, I think you're right. I agree, it's a reset. We'll spectator, and we'll try and find the stronghold room, and we'll finish the story of Daedalus. Wait, there it is. It's right there. How did we not find that? We were here. Weren't we right here? All I needed to do was go this way, and I would have found it. Look, I'm Daedalus. Look, I'm Daedalus. I know solutions. Obviously, I'm not gonna sing and submit this run, but we're gonna do it. Screw this. I wanna do it. I'm not gonna submit this run, obviously. I'm not gonna treat it like it's a PV or anything. We're just gonna do it. Anyway. So they've built wings. Daedalus has built wings, but before they fly, he gives Icarus a warning. He says, Icarus, there's two things that you need to remember before you fly. First, you can't go too close to the ocean, otherwise the spray from the waves is gonna melt. The dragon's perching. I didn't even notice the dragon was perching. That was the fastest perch I've ever seen. I was too busy telling a story, and the stinging... Chad, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Beware of the spray from the waves, because that'll make your wings too wet, and they'll weigh you down and you'll fall into the ocean. But also, don't go too close to the sun, otherwise it'll melt the wax on the wings. The sun will melt the wax, and you'll fall into the ocean. So Icarus says, okay, Dad, and then they fly. They jump into the air and the wings work. They're the first two humans ever to fly. Anyway, they start flying. Can you imagine that? Being the first two humans ever to fly. Just wings. That's crazy. But as you can imagine, Icarus is kind of overwhelmed by that. You're flying. Like, who wouldn't be? And he flies up and up and up, and Daedalus is like, dumb kid, stop, child, you're dumb. And Icarus is like, you're dumb, Dad, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my dad. And Icarus doesn't listen, and he flies closer to the sun. and his wings start to melt. He's like, here we go, here's the perch. Why the And it is at this moment that I myself fly too close to the sun. Here's the thing. Icarus's wings melt. And he falls. He falls into the sea. And he dies. Some people say that it wasn't actually just the sun. It wasn't just the science of the sun, you know, being hot that melted his wings. Some people say that the god Helios himself came down in his flaming chariot and seared the wings off of him. But which version really happened? Or did it even happen at all? I don't know. All I know is that I'm really grateful to you for listening, and I hope if you ever speedrun, you neither fly too close to the sun or collapse and drown in the sea. Thanks for watching.